Okay, so let's get started with our development process. So in this video, we'll cover steps 1 and 2 of adding a Spring Boot starter and also creating an app at the Okta developer website. Let's go ahead and open up our pom.xml file. And we'll move down here to our dependency section and we'll add a new dependency for the Okta Spring Boot starter. Let me zoom in here for a second. I'll add the basics here for the dependency. And I'll go ahead and add the appropriate information here for the group ID. And also the artifact ID. And don't worry that it's red right now. We'll resolve that in a second. And I'll also add an entry here for the version. And now if you'd like to get more details on this starter here, you can use the link that I have on the screen. Now it's red. We can resolve that by simply just having Maven update the project or reload the project. So I'll just swing over here to this POM file and I'll simply go to Maven and I'll say reload project. And give it a bit. It's going to download some of the jar files from the internet. But then over time, once it does all of its special magic, then everything is resolved and we're A-OK. So that part's good. Now we'll move to step 2 of creating an app at the Okta developer website. So we just open up developer.okta.com. And we can sign in with our email and using the previous accounts that we already created. All right, so we're logged in here. So they've changed their user interface recently, so things may change again when you see it, but click on admin. And then over on the left-hand side, select the link here, and then take a look at applications. Select the applications. On this screen, we're going to go ahead and add an application. And now we'll choose Create New App. For the platform, make sure you have Web selected. And for the sign-on method, choose the option for OpenID Connect, because that's the protocol that we're using for logging users into our applications. And now we can set up some additional pieces of information or settings here. For application name, I'll call it Spring Boot E-commerce Backend. You can give it any name that you want here. And then I'll move down to configuring OpenID Connect as far as the login redirect URIs. I'll give localhost 8080 /login /OAuth2 /code /Okta. Now you may wonder, where did this come from? This URI is automatically exposed in our Spring Boot application. This is provided by the Okta Spring Boot starter because we added the dependency in our pom.xml. So there's no code that we have to write to expose this endpoint. By simply adding the Okta Spring Boot Starter to our project in that pom.xml, then Okta will automatically expose this URL. This is part of the Spring Boot auto configuration, and Okta leverages that functionality. So again, no code you have to write. You get this endpoint for free by adding the Spring Boot Starter to your pom.xml file. Once everything looks good, just go ahead and hit the save button. And then we're all set up. So the app's created successfully. So we can go ahead and look at some of the items that are out here, like the client credentials, like the ID, the secret, the Okta domain, and so on. And so we'll use this information in our next video for setting up properties and so forth. So this looks really good. We're in good shape so far.